to be his girlfriend.
Is this a serious question? Because women just went from saying they rather pick a bear over a man. So why the hell would men approach you? Or even look in your direction? But not only that, so many women have taught men over the years that all men are predatorial, so the good men of the world gave up. And it's so funny because women will constantly say that men don't listen, but now that men are listening, y'all are wondering where the good guys are at, why they don't approach you anymore, and why men are just simply not interested. And why the hell would they be interested? They don't know if they're going to be the next subject of all men are trash content on social media. They don't know if they're going to be accused of doing something they didn't do. They don't know if they're going to be used for dates. They don't know if they're going to be manipulated and then called a narcissist. And in this particular video, she's also asking why didn't they approach her because she looks the way that she looks. But the bottom line is most women are basic. There's nothing special to them. We all look the freaking same. So yeah, you actually have to come with more than just your looks. You actually need a personality nowadays too. Okay, bye.
Modern women aren't confused because men are complicated. They're confused because men stopped explaining.
What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore or don't care to put in effort. And a relationship won't work unless the guy likes the girl just a tiny little bit more. He has to like her just the tiniest bit more for it to work in the long haul. So it would make sense if a guy really wanted to get to know you, that he would go leaps and bounds to get to know you. And when did that shift? Because back in my mom's era, if a guy wanted to take you out on a date, he had to go up to you, he had to get your number, he had to go through lengths to try to talk to you, even if you weren't interested at first. How my parents met? They met at a bar, and my dad asked for my mom to dance, and my mom was like, get out of here. She wanted nothing to do with him. If he had just left and listened to her, they would have never gotten married, they would have never had kids. But he was persistent. He wanted to take her out on a date so badly. He was like, what do I have to do to take you out on a date? She was working late their first date, so he went to her work, picked her up, prepped a dinner, took her to a park, just planned the whole thing. He wrote her poetry. He was yearning. How my aunt and my uncle met. My aunt was a dancer on a cruise ship, and he was the photographer. And he was persistent. She overheard him one night saying to his buddy, he was like, I'm gonna marry that girl. He had just met her. And now they're married, and they have 2 kids together. I don't hear anything like that now. Now we're praising eye contact. Now we're praising if a guy held a door open to us and smiled. That is what we're praising. It feels so backwards. I just wonder when it shifted, because I feel like that is the whole downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone now, because men just don't care anymore.
For years, men complained about double standards, unrealistic expectations, emotional one-way streets, and being treated like walking utilities. Those complaints were dismissed as insecurity, fragility, or can't handle strong women. So eventually, men did the most disrespectful thing possible. They went quiet.
Most men don't want to listen to women. They just want to argue with us. And I see them in my comments, they'll be like talking with women. They're like, I really just want to understand. No, you don't. And I can tell by the way that you phrase your questions. Watch out for the language that they use and the way that they frame their questions, because it'll often be accusatory. They'll be accusing women in their statement and be like, look, I'm just trying to understand further because from the way that I see it, derogatory, derogatory, derogatory. If you find that every response you have to make to him is a defense rather than an explanation, he's putting you into an argumentative defense mode, then he's not trying to understand, he is trying to argue. And it's the men who respond with, I'm okay with this, but I'm not okay with that. Who said any of this had to do with what you as an individual are okay with? And that statement alone shows the hierarchy between men and women in his mind, where he's up here and you're down here, because everything you think and say needs to be validated by him to have any sort of holding. That is not a man who's trying to learn anything. That is a man who is sure he is above you.
Now the question floats around. Why don't men approach anymore? Why are men emotionally unavailable? Why are men checking out? But men didn't disappear. They just stopped volunteering for situations that felt one-sided. When effort isn't appreciated and standards feel asymmetrical, interest declines. Not dramatically, not angrily, just steadily.
had a positive interaction with a man, and the fact that I feel like talking about it is why I need to talk about it, because it's so important. So I went to a breakfast spot to get some food. I'm in between clients right now, and there was a lot of people there when I arrived, and so there were some seats and everybody was kind of already sitting down, and I just moved to the side and was scrolling on my phone waiting on my food. Then this gentleman was like, "Excuse me, would you like to sit down?" And I was like, "Oh no, like I'm fine." Like I looked and I was like, I don't want to put him out, like whatever. I didn't really care to sit. And then I looked to my left and I was like, oh, there's a bunch of seats that just came available. I was like, I'll just sit over there. And he was like, no, have a seat. And then he moved over a seat, and then I sat down. And then in my mind, I was like, oh man, like I wonder if he wants to ask for my number. Like, then I have to do the whole thing. And now I'm sitting right next to him. And then I was like, whatever, F it. Like, I'll just say no, it's fine. And he didn't. He didn't. Like, he didn't ask for my number. He didn't have any more conversation for me after that. And I was just like, oh, wow. Like, this was so positive. Like, he genuinely just did something because he felt like being a gentleman or wanting me to be comfortable. And it's not that these things don't happen to me all the time. They do, but they usually do not happen without you real cute. Like, let me get your number.
Women are so conditioned to protect themselves from men that we're always trying to get ahead of whatever the ask could be, whatever the thing could be that puts me in debt to you, or that puts you in expectation of my body, my time, my engagement with you, my attention, right? And so yes, I understand when men are like, it's crazy that when we're just being nice, you think we're flirting. It's because most of the time your peers are. And so it's hard to know when there is no expectation, because oftentimes engagements and interactions with men require some sort of exchange, whether we agree to it knowingly before the ask, before the interaction or not. There's usually always something on the other side of an engagement with a man, unless they are a family member. And that is what makes it so hard for us to interact with you. This is why we have attitudes when we're out, because we don't always want to be sexualized. We don't always want to be romanticized. We just want to exist sometimes with our fellow human beings who happen to be male or male presenting. And so I just like, it is so refreshing to have moments and to have alternative experiences where I can just exist with men without expectation.
Men are like, I mean, but y'all say y'all want men to connect with you and this and this and this. It's like, yeah, but sometimes, like, why do all of our interactions with men have to be romantic? It was so refreshing to just be able to sit by him and nothing was expected from me after that. I think he even got on the phone and was having a conversation. It was so chill. And then my food was ready. And so I just want to say, like, I want men to realize that every interaction with women does not have to be sexualized. It does not have to turn into a romantic encounter. And we actually appreciate that so much. It allows us, like, if you care about women, it allows us to feel safer and more relaxed in the world. And yes, there will be times where you should take action, right? You should, like, try and get a number. And I can't tell you when the exact best times are. And, but I think taking social cues and just not being so pressed for every interaction to validate your manhood by asking for numbers or trying to, hit something, it will really go a long way for men and women's mental health. So I don't know. I just wanted to share that. Ladies, let me know your thoughts.
The real confusion comes from a broken assumption that men will always compete for attention no matter the cost. When that assumption fails, it feels like betrayal instead of cause and effect. Men aren't staging a rebellion. They're conducting an audit.
You do know that some men don't commit to amazing, incredible women, not because there's anything wrong with her, not because he doesn't love her, not because she's doing something that he's turned off by, not because she's not good enough, none of it. All those stories that you play out in your head about why he didn't commit, you do know that sometimes men leave amazing women because they see how amazing they are, and they see the love that type of woman and the devotion and the providership that woman deserves, and they don't know that they are ready in that point in their life to give it to her. And sometimes that causes them to feel some shame. And so you might get people ghosting or not clearly communicating. Doesn't make it right. I just wanted to tell you that there are other reasons besides you not being good enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough, not blah, 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 that he didn't commit. And this is why understanding the differences in masculine and feminine energy is really important. Because for women, oftentimes, if we love you deeply, we're going to do anything to make it work, right? I bet you are the same exact way. If you're my person, I'm committed. We're going to get through it. But a lot of times for men, because good, healthy men really value honoring women and integrity and being a high quality partner, They might opt out of partnership and committing to it because they are not where they want to be in their life as a man, and it has nothing to do with you. But if you're an anxious girly, you may have misinterpreted that. So I was just working with a client the other day who has gone through Soft and Secure. She's feeling amazing, very much in her empowered feminine, getting approached very often by these healthy guys. And the last guy she met last week, she's like, he never followed up, and it's so confusing because I thought we had a great connection. And I said, listen, this could have absolutely nothing to do with you. Number one, what's the point of even trying to figure it out when we don't have enough information, right? Why internalize it and make it about you? This person doesn't even know you. Second of all, did you know that good, healthy men sometimes don't commit or follow up because they see how valuable they are and they're questioning themselves and if they can handle it? Which really alleviated her internalizing and taking it personally when someone doesn't follow up or ask for the second date or all those things. I hope this is helpful. And of course, if you're experiencing this and you want some support with attracting men who do commit and can handle you and are ready for the amazing woman that you are, that's exactly the work I do in the world, is help really high achieving, successful women attract in healthy, empowered, masculine partners and co-create really healthy, thriving love. So fill out an application if you want to chat about that.
They looked at the time investment, the financial pressure, the emotional risk, the public shaming cycles, and asked a simple question: is this worth it? And if the answer isn't convincing, disengagement becomes the logical move.
A lot of times men date us and they're actually disappointed. When you're wondering like, oh, well, why did he pursue me? Why did he want to be with me? And then now all of a sudden he pulling back and he want me to chase him. He got to fucking know you and he's disappointed. Let me tell you this. This is my shit, so I can say I done disappointed a couple niggas. I know that there are men out here that was just like admire me from afar, and it was like, surprise, I'm a hoe. Like, surprise. Look, I fucked you in a week. Like, I know that I disappointed you. Like, I think that men, they see you from afar and they're like, wow, she's out here doing her thing. She's a boss, whatever. And then they get you and they see you off that Casamigos. You drunk as a fucking fish. Your diet don't consist of nothing. You listen to trap music every time you wake up. You have no morning routine. You have no core values. And they date you and they're like, damn, like I thought it was something else. It's actually disappointing.
This hit the nail on the head. A lot of women always ask the question, why do men ghost? Why did men show interest, a lot of interest in the beginning, then all of a sudden nothing? And I always tell women, it's because he found out something about you that he doesn't like. But I like the way she puts it in this video. He was disappointed. When a man sees a woman that he likes, he, talks to her, gets her contact information, begins to speak to her. You have all these thoughts that she is going to meet the standards that you have in your mind to either place her in relationship category or place her in non-relationship category. All men have that bucket. It's relationship and everything else. And something puts you at a fork in the road where he said, she's in non-relationship. So anytime you have that dynamic where the guys seem to be genuinely into you, genuinely engaging with you, and then all of a sudden it's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, that's what happened. And a lot of times women don't even know what it was, because it could be so small. It can be so small as, oh, he found out that you are still friends with an ex. Or he found out that you have a guy best friend. Or he found out that the person he met in public and all of the proper speaking and proper English and non-profanity, and then he starts talking to you on the phone, and then he just hears a bunch of profanity on the phone. There could be a lot of small, just personality quirks that you may have that he just says, this is not wifey material, and then he backs away.
What makes it sting is the indifference. If men were angry, they could be debated. If men were desperate, they could be controlled. But men who are calm and uninterested, that's harder to confront.
Hey, help me settle a debate that I had with a friend. My theory was that men do not chase women like how they used to anymore, is because a lot of women are open to commitment, open to relationships, they're healing, they're doing the work, and therefore good women are more common than rare. So I feel as though men have more options, where I don't believe, unfortunately, a lot of men are doing the kind of work that's required to be in a committed relationship in this generation. And they were saying, my friend was saying, good women are still rare to find. However, access has become more prevalent through social media, dating apps, low effort intimacy. Therefore, men who are not doing the work or prefer not to do too much emotional work that are preferring low effort intimacy. What do you think?
Noticed that there's a lot of beautiful women that are single. There's a lot of beautiful women that struggle in keeping a man. I know you guys are going to be like, oh, it's because they have high standards. Nope, that is not why. It's because these women only have beauty to offer. And some of that beauty isn't even real. A lot of them are buying their beauty. The problem is that they think that this is what's going to keep a man. No, men are not as shallow as women love to portray them. If men were truly shallow, like how you guys want to portray them, then these women would all be in happy relationships, right? The thing is that, yeah, of course, beauty attracts a man, but it doesn't keep them. Personality, your values, your morals, that's what keeps them. You treat them is what keeps them. So I don't know, I feel like women are definitely more shallow than men these days, because whenever I ask a woman, what is it that you're looking for in a guy, it's always a response along the lines of like, oh, well, he has to be a provider and this and that. But they never speak about morals, values. They never speak about things like that.
So the confusion grows. Not because men are mysterious, but because for the first time in a long time, men are comfortable walking away and not looking back.
Why don't men court women anymore? I feel like women my age, we don't experience, or we didn't experience, the courting phase. Like women back in the day, they got to experience that. Like you got to think about women back in the day. Those men wasn't old, but those men was stepping up. Do you hear me? They don't do that anymore. They want to take you to a hookah lounge and then take you home. Well, since when? And then after that, y'all together. Y'all date. Y'all a couple. Like, I thought we were supposed to court for a couple months to see if we even compatible. I need to see you when you mad, when you sad, when you happy. I need to see you when you broke. I need to see you when you up. I need to see different variations of you before I say you mine. Because then when we get together and I turn out to be a psycho, you looking at me like, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, I've been this person. You didn't know because you got with me after a fucking month. After you took me to the hookah lounge. And we ate chicken wings.
The uncomfortable part isn't that some men step back. It's that more men seem perfectly fine staying back.
What the fuck is up with men only wanting to be my pen pal? Because I've been building up my roster for the last couple weeks, and not a single one of these men has even tried to have sex with me. Which normally I would say is very respectful, but it's also, we're not even doing anything. You know, we're not hanging out, we're not like going on dates. Why do men just want pen pals? I don't want to be your fucking pen pal. If we're not fucking and we're not going on dates, then what the hell are we talking for? I don't want to talk to you. I got a million other people I would rather talk to other than you. But I'm just like, does nobody just...
They don't want to go the distance.
Nobody fucks on the first date anymore? Nobody kisses nasty in the parking lot on the first date anymore?
You don't finger in the parking lot?
Nobody fingers in the parking lot after the date anymore? What the fuck's going on? I've been out of the dating game for 5 years. What are we, all virgins? I mean, I'm a virgin, honestly, but like, God, nobody's fucking on the first date, second date? God forbid a girl wants a little love bombing, you know. So what? So what? I'm a little bored. So what? I'm a little bored and I want to have sex. So what? God fucking forbid.
There was always this quiet belief that men would tolerate almost anything for access. Mixed signals, shifting standards, being compared, being tested, being told they're not enough while still expected to prove everything. The assumption was simple: men will keep chasing.
Ladies, hear me out. Guys are going to tell you this, so I'll be the first one to tell you. Attractive girls barely get approached, and high-value women do not get approached, and they do not get texted first. They don't get nothing. They don't get no attention from guys. Why is this, okay? The reason this is because you automatically become more intimidating. And not just intimidating when you're attractive, but when you're high valued, bro, guys don't approach you, guys don't text you first. Reason being is because they can tell they can't handle you. The moment you come across high valued, they know you're going to be high maintenance. They know you're going to be, you know what I'm saying, expecting them to not play video games all day. So it's good because you're going to filter out the guys that you don't need. You get what I'm saying? So just because guys don't approach you or guys don't text you first does not mean you're ugly. It's probably going to force you to be isolated, right? But the good thing is, ladies, make yourself even more high value. Literally, I had a girl who texted me on IG the other day. She was saying how she was isolated. You know what I did? B&W Men's, I got her in my e-com group to teach her how to run a business, the exact business I do. Imagine you're high valued and you're rich, ladies. You could be traveling the world. You're not going to be worrying about if guys are texting you. And if you do want me to teach you the business I run, I will literally put y'all ladies on. Go to my IG, DM me the word e-com, E-C-O-M. I'll put you on step by step. But just because guys don't approach you does not mean you're unattractive.
But when chasing starts to feel like performing, and performing feels like losing leverage, interest fades. Not out of spite, out of clarity. And clarity changes behavior fast.
I love how every woman is always talking about how they don't want to settle, they're not settling for less than they deserve. Okay, but honestly speaking, most of the women that are saying this don't really deserve much. Like, you guys are not a catch. You're living in this delusional world and you think that you deserve the world. You expect men to settle for you. And just because you have these unrealistic expectations and standards, why the hell should men settle for you when they actually deserve a whole lot better? And that's the reality, and that's why men are walking away from dating. Men just don't care to put in the effort anymore. Men are not going up to women anymore because men don't want to settle either. The funny thing is, men are actually more realistic about their expectations. Women are not.
Men began prioritizing peace over validation, simplicity over complexity, predictability over emotional roulette. When you remove the constant need to impress, you free up an incredible amount of energy. Energy that now goes into careers, fitness, friendships, hobbies, places where effort actually compounds. The confusion comes from expecting the old dynamic to still work.
So I recently asked men, actually quite a few posts back, why they do not approach women anymore. And sisters, they got in them comments, about 400 comments. And we getting ready to start. Number one, I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. I might have to do a part two. Y'all are looking for studs. Y'all are not polite. Sisters, y'all not polite. Me Too and feminism. Apparently, they are afraid of being accused of SA. Everyone looks the same. No one stands out or is original. The system, social media, has destroyed y'all. Y'all are not safe. Okay. Y'all said y'all prefer a bear. Now, we're gonna have to expound on that because apparently there was a poll that says women asked who they feel safe around. They said men or a bear. Y'all chose a bear. The men are salty about that.
But once men stop competing for attention and start competing with themselves instead, the whole atmosphere shifts. Suddenly, attention isn't automatic. Pursuit isn't guaranteed. Validation isn't endless. And nothing feels more disorienting than realizing the person you assumed would always chase is now choosing not to.
So this woman was in a restaurant. She's looking around and all she sees other women. Nobody on a date. No man and woman on a date. Just women, as she said, dating each other. So the commentary is that men don't want to be on dates anymore. They don't want to go out with women because it's a waste of time and money. So my question is, do men ever like going on a date? Do men like going on dates? They like going to restaurants and trying different foods and things like that. Is it something that they only did because women like to do it? Like if I'm going to get in a relationship and I say I want to go to a restaurant, am I making him do something that he doesn't want to do? A lot of men say they just rather stay home. But what do you guys think?
It's not hatred. It's not revenge. It's recalibration. And when indifference replaces desperation, the dynamic changes permanently.
Men stop playing by the rules. And now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.